What's going on, guys? G2 here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do a video on what I think are the 5 most important calibers that you should own. If we were to limit it all and take it down to 5. Because I am of the mentality that less is more. But these 5, I think I've got them, cover you in every situation. They're readily available, they're fairly cheap, and they all have their certain place, but working together, I think they cover you, kind of in a very, very broad spectrum. So when you think about what guns do you want to get, do you think about the caliber of the gun? Do you think about, do I have guns in the same caliber as this where I can share ammunition? Or are you just buying the gun based on, what's hot at the moment? What caliber is cool? Not necessarily tried and true, not necessarily readily available, not necessarily inexpensive, because some of these new calibers that are out can get pretty pricey. So not all calibers are equal, right? I think we all can agree on that. And some are honestly far more versatile than others. So it's a good idea to go to with calibers that are more popular or common, easily to find, just because they're going to significantly reduce how much you're going to cost to buy them. Not to mention, it will be easier for you to find these in the event we have an ammo shortage, as we are going through right now. So when I thought about these, what are the qualities that we chose to select these calibers, right? So think about what you're going to use it for, right? And this is kind of the broad spectrum that I was talking about. So casual target shooting. Just going to the range, shooting some steel, shooting some paper. No big deal. Small game hunting. Rabbits, squirrels, raccoons, varmint hunting, whatever you want to call it. Bird hunting. Big game hunting, right? Deer and above, we'll call that. Personal defense, home defense, property defense, whatever you want to call it. Long distance shooting, and tactical training. So those are kind of the categories that I'm thinking about when I do this. The 5 calibers that I selected allow me to do all of those tasks, but I also wanted to add in some other things. They had to be inexpensive. We had to easily be able to find them. They have to be versatile, so one round can do more than one thing. Easy to shoot, right? We don't want something that's going to break the bank and dislocate our shoulder. So let's talk about my first one. My first one of 5. These are in no particular order. 22 long rifle. This should be no shock, no surprise to anyone. Because if you don't have a 22 in your gun collection, seriously, come on, man. Like, 22 is probably should be the first gun that you buy. And then you go everything up from there. That's the gateway gun, as far as I'm concerned. So the 22 long rifle has 1,000 different reasons why it's a viable choice. First off, let's talk about the size. It's a very, very small round. It's easy to store. It comes in bulk, and it takes up like 0 space. The recoil and the noise on this is pretty much non-existent, which is great for your ears and your overall shooting. It's a great training round. Perfect for small game hunting and pest control. I think that the 22 is probably the most effective when you're using it in a semi-automatic rifle, or like a Ruger 1022, for example. A Marlin 60, Smith & Wesson MP1522, something along those lines. It's when you're going to get the most bang out of your buck for this. But putting that in a Ruger, like a Mark IV, Mark 1, 2, 3, pick one. Awesome choice. It would be my choice if you're going for a 22 pistol. Go with the Ruger Mark series. So 22, I guess this is obvious, right? It's cheap. It's plentiful. You can store it and take up no space. It's great for target shooting. It's great for practice shooting. It's great for new beginners. It has low noise and minimal recoil. That's why it is one of my 5 for sure. And for small game hunting. The next, probably odd, 12 gauge. You got to have a pump action shotgun. You do. It's just, I'm sorry. It's a rule. We're making it a rule right now. It's the most common shotgun round that you're going to find. birdshot, buckshot, slug, whatever. 12 gauge is, in my opinion, the king of shotgun rounds. Find it everywhere. It's been used forever. Again, you can change the round or the shell type to bird hunting if you want to do birdshot. Big game hunting if you want to do slugs. Home defense if you want to use buckshot. It's readily available. It's inexpensive. And it is one of those that is just a universal round that you can use, or a universal caliber that you can use for pretty much every situation. My third one is the 9mm Luger. Now, 9mm is a little tough to find right now, so if you didn't bulk up, you're probably kicking yourself in the pants right now. But other than this, if you bulked up, you know you're good, right? I think the single most important gun that you can own is a pistol and 9mm Luger. If you have to stockpile any ammunition, this is the one that you want to stockpile. 9mm is the most readily available caliber on the planet, with the exception of right now. But other than that, it is the most readily available. One of the benefits for this, it has a moderately low recoil when you compare it to like the 40 or the 45. Fast, accurate follow-up shots, and it's more, geared towards all ages, genders, body types, sizes, etc. And they can carry a lot of bullets. So think about the pistols in 9mm, other than subcompact. Let's go into like the full-size pistols that go anywhere from 15 to 19 rounds. Now you can get stick 33 round mags for an AR-9, which put it in a Glock, whatever. You can get drums for 50. So it is, in my opinion, if you're going to go with a pistol round, 9mm is the only where you need to go. I'm not going to argue this. You can say whatever you want to say. You're not changing my mind, period. It's cheap to shoot. There's practically zero recoil on this. You can get high-capacity magazines, no problem. Pretty easy to find. And it has, sufficient stopping power. Because of its moderate recoil, it's easier to do follow-up shots. So you 45 guys are like, well, I only got 7. I only need 7. That's cool. Because a 9mm you can probably pop off 2 accurately before you can pop off 2 accurately with a 45. So, but I only need 1 with the 45. Well, let's say you miss. Then what? So let's go on to number 4. The rifle round. 5.56, 223, whatever you want to call it. That is the rifle round, the first rifle round that I am selecting. AR-15, you got to have one. If you don't have an AR-15 at this point, it's probably because you just can't find one. But whether you don't want to have it in AR-15, you can do it in a Ruger Mini 14, IWI Tavor, whatever you want. Now, the 5.56 by 45, we're just going to call it 5.56. We know 223, whatever. 5.56 is what we're going to go with. It's got greater velocity and greater range than a pistol round. Duh. No kidding, right? So, more punch, more distance. That's what we want. It's low recoil. It's really easy to control. Better range than a shotgun. So, this is your rifle round. This is what you're doing. You're using on those intermediate to longer distances. You can load up magazines, right? 30, 10, 20, 50, 100. Get your little 100 drums, whatever you want. It's relatively inexpensive if you get it in bulk, and it is abundantly plentiful. So in a shit hit the fan situation, think about what's going to be available. Think about what is the most popular, what militaries use, what other countries' militaries use in the event that you're invaded. What are they going to bring? 5.56 NATO, 9mm, and most likely my number 5 choice. Now, my 5, I was very, very torn between the 7.62 by 39 and the 308. I'm going to just lump them together because I'm just going to say they're practically the same round, kind of. Let's talk about the 308 first. You can drop anything with that. Big game, I mean, if you want to obliterate small game into a fine mist, red mist, pink mist, you can do that with the 308. The range on it blows the 5.56 out of the water. It's got more power, and it is readily available too. And most militaries use 308. The other one, again, we talked about the 7.62 by 39. It actually is, if I was going to pick a rifle round, I probably, the 5.56 and the 7.62 are going to be pretty close. Because with the exception of the United States, a lot of countries use the 7.62 by 39 round, which is, it doesn't have quite the range and accuracy as the 5.56, but it has devastating power. And if you're behind a cinder block wall, I would much rather have a 7.62 than a 5.56. Just saying. So let's wrap it all up. Everything that you need can be covered and taken care of with 22 long rifle, 12 gauge, 9mm, 5.56, 308, and we're going to put 7.62 in there. If you want to sub the 308 for the 7.62 or sub the 5.56 for the 7.62, I don't care whichever one you want, but I think 7.62 is the one that you need. But what's most important on the calibers that you select is, are you buying them? Are you stockpiling? For every rifle or caliber that you have, you should have at minimum 1,000 rounds saved and ready to go. You don't touch them. You put them in a can, you store them, and you save them for a rainy day. That is the standard. And then for every rifle or gun that you own, you should have at minimum 10 magazines. Period. If you're one of those guys who have like a 9, a 45, a 40, a 7.62, a 12 gauge, a 20 gauge, 308, 300 blackout, 6.5, whatever, 50 BMG. If you're one of those guys, that's awesome. Hey, I'm one of those guys. It's cool. But you gotta have your staples. You gotta know, like, if you're gonna bounce right now, what are the 5 guns that you're gonna take with you? And those are the 5 guns that you should have. You should be stockpiling in. So we're gonna wrap it up on that. Let me know what you guys think. I thought about these 5 long and hard, and you let me know if you agree. I know there's some 300 blackout guys that may be angry that say 300 blackout is better for subsonic and suppressor shooting, and we didn't even touch that subject, which does change the, I guess, the rating a little bit. Until next time, make sure that you're practicing safe weapons handling at all times and treating every weapon as if it was loaded. God bless America. G2 out.